everybody, it's Mel. Thank you for joining me today for the BookTube bio tag. I was originally tagged by Victoria from What Victoria Read. I will link her channel along with anyone else that I talk about in the description below so that you can go and check them out, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Victoria is one of my favourite booktubers and she very kindly tagged me in this tag. Like I said, it was a while ago now, so apologies Victoria for taking so long to get around to the tag. I actually forgot that you had tagged me, but I've remembered now and here we are, I'm going to do the tag. So this is kind of a little bit of a share your story, your BookTube story sort of idea. So yeah, let's just dive into the questions. So the first question is, who are you? Share a little bit about yourself. So my name is Mel and I live in Australia. As you can probably tell from the accent, I actually live in Tasmania, which is the southernmost state of Australia, and it's also the island off the bottom coast of Australia. I'm not originally from Tasmania. I moved here in 2011 so that I could go back to university and get my Masters of Teaching and become a teacher. I am now a primary school teacher. I mostly do relief teaching. I've done a fair bit of contract work as well, so covering maternity leave, teaching classes, doing literacy support, numeracy support. I've run the early years launching into learning program at a couple of different schools, and also, like I said, relief teaching. So that's the same as what you'd call supply teaching in the UK. So whenever a teacher is, I sometimes get called in on a day when they're sick. So I might get asked to work in the morning. I often get asked the night before or the day before these days, but yeah, often get called in for a day if a teacher's sick. Sometimes it might be, like I said, mat leave or something like that, or if a teacher is sick and then they end up having to take a few weeks off because of their illness, I'll cover that. So I've done anything from a range of a term worth of relief teaching, full-time for a term, through to like a daily basis relief teaching. I do primary school, like I said, which is elementary school. I prefer the early years. I'm not even a huge fan of doing grade 5, 6, which is the upper grades in primary school. I prefer the early years. And I also have a graduate certificate in early childhood education, so I'm technically able to teach from birth through to grade 6. And I used to work in early childhood as well, and I've done a bunch of different stuff in early childhood with babies through to pre-kinder 3 and 4 year olds. So yeah, I love teaching. It's a really hard job, but absolutely amazing, very rewarding. And then last year, at the end of last year in September, I had a little baby of my very own, which is absolutely amazing. It's been fantastic. They are almost 1 year old, which blows my mind. They are adorable. They are such a character, such a fun little person to have around, and yeah, it's just been amazing to experience and to watch. Mostly fantastic and amazing, obviously sometimes difficult and tiring, but mostly amazing. My partner and I decided before the baby was born that we weren't going to have them on my YouTube channel. I'm not even giving gender net pronouns because we just want them to be internet free for as long as possible. And yeah, so you won't be seeing any photos or any footage of baby book fiend, but I do talk about them on my channel because they're a big part of my life and really important to me. We have 3 cats. I have my partner Rowan, who is amazing and wonderful and an incredible dad, and we have 3 cats. We have a little blended fur family. Rowan had 2 cats, Peanut and Pistachio, before we met, and I had Shade before we met, and then when we got together and moved in together, we had our little blended fur family. So they are Peanut, Pistachio and Shade. And yeah, that's kind of all I really think that I have to say about myself for now. So let's move on to question number 2, which is, how long have you been on BookTube? So I started my channel in October of 2019. I think I put up my first video on the 4th or 5th of October. I will link that down below if you want to go and check it out. It hasn't changed a huge amount, to be honest with you. It's mostly just me. I mostly just do this kind of video. I sit down and talk to a camera, but I feel like I've gotten a little bit more comfortable talking to a camera, and yeah, hopefully there's a little bit of improvement. But anyway, yeah. So 6 years is almost 6 years is the actual answer to that question. Question 3, what kinds of books do you love to read? And then the second part of that question, has BookTube had an effect on what you read? Okay, so the first question, what kind of books do you like to read? My favorite, or my most read genre, and probably my favorite genre, is fantasy. I like epic fantasy. I like kind of high epic fantasy probably the most, but any fantasy really. I like, yeah, really any fantasy. I like historical fantasy, epic fantasy, suburban fantasy. Is that the... You know what I'm trying to say. I can't think of the actual terminology. Haven't gotten super into romantasy. I did enjoy the Akatar series and Crescent City, so I do have read some romantasy and enjoyed it, but it's not my favorite genre or subgenre of fantasy. But overall, fantasy is definitely my most read genre, and I'd say my favorite genre. But I do read reasonably widely. I read contemporary and romance. I read mystery thrillers. I read historical fiction. I do sometimes read literary fiction, although probably less frequently. I do occasionally read sci-fi, although again less frequently. And I have started dipping my toes into horror, although that's definitely not something I'm particularly, often read genre, but I have started dipping my toes into that. Dark romance isn't really my thing, and I don't read a lot of, dark romance or, like mafia romances and that sort of thing. That's not my vibe, but just sort of general contemporary romance I quite like. Yeah, so that's that. And then, has BookTube had an effect on what you read? I would say definitely yes, partly because I watch now a lot of BookTube, and so I am a lot more aware of different books that I maybe wouldn't have been aware of before being a part of and watching a lot of BookTube, partly because people read very different books to me, and so therefore I, find out about different books, partly because I was never particularly aware of upcoming releases. I kind of never really paid attention to that. I just got a lot of my recs from friends and family, or just generally going to bookstores or the library. So yeah, I feel like I've definitely become more aware of upcoming releases. I have some authors that I kind of keep an eye on, if that makes sense. I think it's definitely changed the genres that I read. I definitely read more romance since starting BookTube than I did before. Horror is another thing that I've started reading since starting BookTube. Authors like Sarah J. Maas that I definitely have read because of BookTube. And like I said, I did do a video where I read some popular, this was a couple of years ago now, but some then very popular romances. So popularity of books on BookTube has definitely just changed the way I read, because it's changed what I'm picking up a lot of the time. So I think definitely it's changed the way I read. Question number 4, what do you enjoy about making BookTube videos? I kind of enjoy most things about making BookTube videos. I quite like this. I mean, it's not, it's kind of a weird thing to like, but I like talking about books, and I don't mind that I'm talking to myself, essentially, because I'm aware of, at the moment, I'm aware that this is a tag that Victoria tagged me in, so I know she'll watch this. So I'm somewhat aware of some of the people that watch my videos now, so I feel like I'm not necessarily talking to myself per se. And yeah, I quite enjoy this. I actually quite enjoy editing. I know a lot of people don't, but I quite enjoy it. I find it an interesting process. I do very basic, minimal editing, as you can see, but I quite enjoy doing it. Those are probably the things I like the most about the actual video creating. But I just like being part of BookTube. I like being part of the community. I like receiving comments. I'm not great at commenting on other people's videos. I do try, and I'm trying really hard to be better at that at the moment, but I'm not great at it. But know that I love watching your videos. I enjoy watching BookTube. I enjoy being a part of the community, even if at the moment it's a little bit more of a silent part of the community. I enjoy being part of the community. I have people who I consider friends that I've made because of BookTube, which is amazing. So definitely I would say overall BookTube in general, my favorite thing is the people, the community, the friends that I've made. But in terms of making videos, I like this, and I like the editing. Next question, question 5. What do you not enjoy about making BookTube videos? The thing that I don't like as much, and I don't mind doing it, it's part of the process, but I don't love the actual uploading. I mean, by which I mean like writing out the description, putting out the thumbnail, making sure it's scheduled and uploaded. I mean, it's fine. It's just part of the process. I do it, whatever. It's not a problem. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite thing. It's just a job, if that makes sense. So that would be, yeah, the answer to that question. Question number 6, what video on your channel are you the most proud of? So a while ago, throughout the last few years, I made a few IVF updates because, for anyone that doesn't know, BookTube, Baby Book Fiend is an IVF baby, and we did quite a few rounds of IVF. It was a big struggle. It took a lot out of me emotionally and physically. It was a long time, a long process, an expensive process. So I did a few updates where I talked about how I was feeling, where we were at in the process, and I'm pretty proud of that. I feel like even though I'm a BookTube channel, mostly BookTube people interested in books are watching that. I feel like potentially it could have gotten out to a wider audience, but anyway, even within the BookTube community, there's going to be people who are experiencing a similar thing, so I feel like hopefully they are able to, you know, get some hope and feel seen from my videos, so I'm proud of that. And just in general, I'm proud of the fact that I make a video regularly and that it's a thing that I do and that I, you know, I still enjoy doing, and therefore I make time to do it. But videos that I'm enjoying making at the moment, I mean, I enjoy making videos, like I said, but ones that I'm particularly enjoying at the moment and feel proud of are, I'm doing some vlogs where I pick out a particular booktuber and then I pick out a few books that they, for whatever reason, in whatever fashion, have inspired me to pick up and to read. Usually they're books that I may not have picked up on my own were I not making these videos, and they've been a lot of fun, and I feel like I'm branching out even more. That's another way that BookTube has influenced me in terms of what I'm picking up. So I'm working on a couple of those at the moment, which hopefully they'll come up soon. I did one earlier this year, which I'll link the playlist down below. I've done one where I've read books inspired by Victoria, who tagged me in this tag. So yeah, I'm enjoying those and I'm quite proud of those. Question number 7, is there anything you wish was different about BookTube? I know that there can be some drama, interpersonal drama within the BookTube community. I think that's fairly normal. Any kind of community of people will have some drama, will have some, you know, difficulties, because we're humans, right? I tend to steer clear of that. I've managed mostly to pretty much not be affected by that. I don't think I'm a big enough channel to be really part of it. But I'd say that that's probably the thing I dislike the most, or that I would change. What was the actual wording of the question? Anything you wish was different. I wish that that was different in general. Like, it's not really just about BookTube. In general, I wish that people weren't like that. But I mean, they are, we are, I am, like, it's just part of life. I try not to be a super gossipy person. I try not to get involved in drama, but sometimes you can't help it. And for better or for worse, that's what humanity is. So I wish we were different, but I guess, you know, all I can do is try to be the best version of myself that I can be. Yeah, I'd say probably that. Let me check any other questions. I think the other thing, and this isn't really specific to BookTube in general, but I guess I just wish that YouTube wasn't the way that it was. It wasn't set up so that, you know, you were so focused on, or that you could be so focused on who was watching you, who liked you, how many viewers, how many subscribers, how much traction you're getting, etc. I definitely feel like I used to be a lot more concerned with that than I am currently, and I think part of that is down to the fact that I did start this channel as a little bit of a way of giving myself something to think about, so that I wasn't spending all of my time thinking about and obsessing about trying to have a baby. And so now that I have a baby, I feel like my attention shifted a lot more to being their mum, and so I'm not thinking that much about all of those things, the views, the subscribers, etc. But also, I hit 1,000 subscribers and felt like I made it, if that makes sense. I don't know why, but I feel like that's the big number that you push towards. And then, like, even though I don't have monetization, like, YouTube itself isn't making money off of me, I feel like it's still, I don't know, I feel like the pressure's off somehow. I think that it's the pressure that I've I'm not putting so much on myself. I'm just enjoying the process, and I'm seeing a little bit of growth still. I haven't grown very fast, but since then, but I'm still seeing a little bit of growth, which is nice. But yeah, that's a thing that I would change, but that's about YouTube in general, not really about BookTube. Next question number 8. Name 3 books that you have reviewed on your channel that you feel represent who you are as a reader. Books that I've reviewed specifically on my channel, as in books that I've read since I started my channel and therefore have reviewed as part of my reading because of BookTube. I don't do standalone reviews, so they're going to be in wrap-ups and that sort of thing, but Babel by R.F. Kuang, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and let's go with The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Next question, question number 9. Name 3 booktubers whose content inspires you. So I'm going to say Victoria, who tagged me in this video, in this tag, from What Victoria Read. I just think she's an amazing person and uses any monetization that she gets towards charity. She sells bookmarks, which are gorgeous, by the way, on Etsy, which I can link below as well. And again, that money goes towards charity, and I find that incredibly inspirational. But just her personality, like the way she comes across on her channel, feels very authentic and very herself, and that really inspires me. Plus, I think she's a lovely person, and yeah, I find that inspiring. So definitely Victoria. Who else did I write down? I wrote down Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. Sorry, that's his old channel name, from Gavin Reads It All. I love Gavin. I think anyone that has seen Gavin feels the same way. I find him funny. I find him very personable. I find him entertaining. And yeah, I just think that Gavin is a great content creator. I love his videos. I just love his personality. And again, he feels very authentic, very real. I mean, I feel like he does ham up some aspects of his personality, but you know, that's part of who he is as well, if that makes sense. And yeah, he just feels real authentic and fun, and I have been inspired by some of the videos that he has done to make videos that are inspired by him, and that is amazing. So his content in general inspires me, so you know, thank you, Gavin. And then the last person that I've written is Win from Literary Diversions. So Win is a person who I started watching early on in my Finding BookTube time, and I've just always really loved their channel as well, really loved the way they talk about books, really loved the way they come across, and again, their personality. Again, they feel authentic, they feel really real, and I just really appreciate that. I appreciate the way they talk about books, and I appreciate the way they have their channel, if that makes sense. And yeah, they inspire me to make more interesting and more fun videos, I feel. Question 10, share the love. It can be challenging to find your audience. Name 3 booktubers who you think need more hype. So the first person that I'm going to say is Ren from The Reading Ren. Ren is such a lovely person, a really great friend of mine. I think that they are just amazing, very generous, very kind. I love their channel. I love the way they talk about books. They talk about a lot of queer books, which is fantastic. I love their TBR game, which is based on Stargate. Stargate, the TV show, which is not a TV show I'm particularly, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm particularly, you know, I don't know very well, but I like their game that's based on that, and yeah, I just think they're a fantastic person and more people should subscribe to them. The next person is Angela from Angela Rose Reads. This is a channel that I have come across reasonably recently. They're just a really fun channel. I really enjoy, again, they seem very authentic, very personable. I like the way they talk about books. They also have a really fun TBR game, and yeah, I just think that they deserve more love. You should go and check them out. And then the final person is Manny from Reading with Manny. Manny is such a lovely person as well. I have really enjoyed collaborating with Manny and chatting with Manny. I've done a few different collaborations with Manny, and they've been really fun. And yeah, I just think they're a really lovely person, and more people should subscribe to their channel as well. They are obviously all linked down below. So tagging people, it's not a part of the questions, but I will do it anyway. I'm going to tag those 3 people. So Angela Rose Reads, Ren from the Reading Ren, and Manny from Reading with Manny. I will also tag Kaz from Cats and Camera, who is another person who is criminally under-subscribed, and you should definitely go and subscribe to them because they're fantastic. So that was Cats and Camera. Amber from Books with Amber, I think is the channel name. Let me just check. Books of Amber, I should say. So I will tag Amber from Books of Amber. And the final person that I'm going to tag is Steph from Novelty Corner. So obviously, if you don't want to do those tags, people who have tagged, feel free not to, but you are tagged if you'd like to do the tag. And that's it from me today. That's the end of the tag. So comment any thoughts that you have down below in the comments. If you'd like to leave a comment but you don't know what, then leave some kind of tag emoji, like a little like present label or tag or something like that. And yeah, like I said, that's everything from me today. So if you enjoyed this video, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.